going on, Jerome's? Your Minnesota Vikings are back at TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill, the beginning of the voluntary offseason workout program. Not OTAs, workouts. Vikings do that for 5 weeks before the first OTA on May 20th. But Kevin O'Connell, right tackle Brian O'Neill, as well as tight end TJ Hockenson, fed the local media jackals today. Also, I want to point out, if they reboot the Superman franchise again, instead of Harry Cavill, I nominate Kevin O'Connell, right? And I know that football coaches only have like 5 weeks of vacation, basically late June into July, so they're going to have to film that movie like right quick. But I feel like Kevin O'Connell could do it. Man of Steel. Anyways, he's looking good in the hood. So the number one thing, well, first off, there was a lot of coach speak. There was a lot of player speak. You know, it is what it is. It happens, man. But the main topic is Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gershman. No, well, he's not the main topic, but Justin freaking Jefferson is. You know what I mean? Kevin O'Connell confirms that wide receiver Justin Jefferson is not in the building today for the Vikings' first day of their voluntary offseason program. Attendance for other parts remains to be seen. Jefferson did not attend voluntary program in 2023. Did do a mandatory minicamp. So this isn't news, and I'm not sweating this at all, right? So it's the same thing as last year. Jefferson skipped the voluntary portions, and also since he's on his rookie deal, like, he doesn't have a workout bonus, so it really is no muss, no fuss. But most guys on the rookie deals show up because they're still trying to impress and make the team and all that stuff. I mean, JJ is already a superstar, and it's not like he's just sitting on the couch eating Cheetos, although that does sound kind of nice. Watching reruns of Boardwalk Empire. Come on, Nucky. But JJ working, grinding down in Florida, will be good to go. He's a pro's pro. But Kevin O'Connell did talk about how he wants to get Jefferson in the building. He loves his energy. He loves everything that he brings to the building. He is a true leader. But basically, Kevin O'Connell just skirted around the contract issue. But I think that's something that's going to be worked out at some point this offseason. I mean, both sides want to get something done, and I think ultimately something will indeed get done. And then the rest of the way. So Kevin O'Connell, of course, talking about the draft and quarterback, and he went over his list of things that he looks for. Again, accuracy, processing, that buzzword. Also, so this is kind of interesting. So he talked about how he wants a quarterback that will take what is there, but occasionally take what's not there. Right. So, I mean, all the talk about like Drake May is certainly there, and Drake May, the knock against him is that sometimes he takes too many chances. He tries to force the issue too often. The knock about JJ McCarthy is that maybe he doesn't force the issue often enough. Maybe even the same thing with Jaden Daniels. But in terms of pressing the envelope, I feel like sometimes you just got to make a play just to make a play, although you certainly won't get broke taking a profit of taking what the defense gives you. Then, his draft room influence, him being a former quarterback, he really downplayed that, but he also talked about he loved the private workouts, and I think that the Vikings process is something that's going to be copied by a lot of teams. So what the Vikings did is that instead of attending the pro day cattle calls with the brass, they sent McCown and Udinsky. They did the groundwork there, but private workouts with 5 of the top 6 quarterbacks. So all the ones pictured here, May, Daniels, McCarthy, Penix, as well as Bo Nix. And what O'Connell likes to do is that hands-on coaching in the classroom, run them through a bunch of stuff and then see it out on the field. So basically, instead of just a static workout that's instrumented by the player and the agent, Kevin O'Connell gets a real look at what the player is going to be like in practice. If he's coachable, is he attentive? Does he retain information? How he actually looks on the field? So that's important. So I think that the Vikings are going to have the best educated guess in terms of finding their quarterback, because it's definitely not an exact science for sure, but I think that's something that is going to be copied by a lot of teams. So props to Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell for doing that. Say he had a great dialogue with Justin Jefferson that remains ongoing. So I feel like the media sort of skirted around the whole Kirk Cousins issues, but basically he was asked about what's it going to be like not having Kurt there, and O'Connell said they basically got a head start last year, and it's true. When they had Mullins and the Passionate and the Mormon Missile in, life without Kurt, in some ways, obviously all injuries are bad, but it could ultimately be a good thing for the Vikings, because if Kurt didn't get hurt, maybe the Vikings are the team that gives him the 4-year, $180 million deal with $100 million guaranteed. Certainly possible. But I think that Kevin O'Connell, like at a certain point, he was going to have to learn to coach without Kirk Cousins. And he also had to learn to coach without Justin friggin' Jefferson last year. And now with Sam Darnold, a rookie quarterback TBD, like it's not going to be Kirk. So Kevin O'Connell got a little bit of on-the-job training last year. He's very bullish about the cornerback room. Still says that they're looking towards the draft as well, but he does like the veteran addition with Shaquille Griffin, working with Murph and whatnot. Also, full kicking competition. So the Vikings right now have one kicker on the rooster, John Parker Romo. I don't know, maybe they bring in the other UFL dude who kicks like 60-yarders every week. You do that. Go ahead. Brian O'Neill, which hopefully someone said hi to Brian O'Neill in the hallway today. That's all, man. But basically, he was asked about Kurt signing with Atlanta. Brian O'Neill was a huge advocate of Kirk Cousins before free agency, but he understands that the business is the business. Really fired up about Aaron Jones. And also Brian O'Neill said that he used to be a big-time fan of the draft early on in his career, but now it just sort of, it is what it is. It's not his job. His job is to block people. He does a pretty damn good job of that when he's on the field. And now just get who you get, and then let's ride. Also, he's asked about a dual threat quarterback, and just like, I don't know, doesn't really change too many things, although it really does change everything. But I always feel like dual threat quarterbacks with mobility, like they do the offensive line a little bit of an extra solid. Like, do I think that Ronnie Stanley is his tier 1 left tackle? No, but he got paid like one because he has Lamar Jackson there. Or do I think that Orlando Brown was a tier 1 right tackle before he went to Kansas City and switched to left tackle? No, but Lamar Jackson made him look good. Now, if Jaden Daniels lands here, I mean, that certainly could help out the offensive line, although it didn't really help with the Passionate last year. But also, all these guys can move a little bit, especially Penix at his pro day, like showed off that he does have wheels. He just chooses not to run. It's kind of weird, man. Lastly, Hockenson. So I 100% thought that Hockenson was doing the Cornholio thing as like an homage, because SNL had a hilarious Beavis and Butthead sketch over the weekend. It was great, but no, it's just the cut of the Unreal Co. golf hoodie, which is fantastic, by the way. But Hockenson, of course, the number one question was about rehab as well as the hit. So Will Raggett, Sports Illustrated. Vikings tight end T.J. Hockenson on the hit from Lions safety Dirty Kirby Joseph that resulted in his torn ACL. Quote, "I would have much rather gone down with a concussion for 2 weeks than have to deal with this for 9 months." End quote. Hockenson said he doesn't have anything against Joseph, but blames the league and its rules for incentivizing defensive players to hit low. And I feel like 9 players out of 10, like 9 receivers or tight ends out of 10 will tell you they would rather get hit in the head than with the knee. Because the knee or anything like that taken out, I mean, that's the season, right? Concussion is a couple weeks. Now, long term, that's probably the wrong way of looking about things, except, I mean, these guys are young, they're in the moment, they're gladiators and all that stuff, and I feel like the league is incentivizing players to go low. So it's really, also, taking away the hip drop tackle, I mean, it's basically impossible to play defense back nowadays. Now, Kirby Joseph certainly took things a little bit too far, and Hockenson, talked about how a couple weeks later Joseph did the same damn thing to Tyler Higbee of the Rams, and also they had surgery by the same doctor and also rehabbed in the same area in LA, which is kind of funny, man. But also, yeah, Hockenson says that he doesn't have anything against Kirby Joseph except he refused to name him by name. The player. And also he talked about how there is like a unspoken agreement between players where at the end of the day, like, it is a business, players move around all the time, but I mean, this is a brotherhood, this is a fraternity, and trusting opposing players to not, I mean, it's a contact sport, right? Injuries will happen, but trusting the opposition not to be intentionally looking to injure you, that's where it comes in, right? And I think that Hockenson did make a good point that the league does basically box defensive players into where they have to go low in spots like that. Stuff, man. Gave a rehab update. He is hopeful about week 1, but we'll see. He understands that it's a process. There's a video of him walking into the facility today. No hitch in his giddy up. Actually, he's walking with Dan Feeney. Dan Feeney looked like walking in like John Wayne, all that stuff. But he is fired up about the Sons of Anarchy and not just a television show. Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, looking good. And he talks about how it's a group of veterans, and especially along the offensive line as well. Most of the key parts have been with Kevin O'Connell since he got here day one, 2022. Hockenson came in mid-season at the trade deadline, 2022. So hopefully, even though it's going to be a new guy under center in Darnold or quarterback TBD in all likelihood, that they'll be able to hit the ground running and have one of the best offenses in the game. Also, Aaron Jones. People can't stop talking about Aaron Jones. So he better be good, man. That's it. And also Hockenson being an Iowa alum, spoke effusively about Caitlin Clark, how she is a baller, how she's changed the game, and how she does have the pressure of entire sport on her shoulders. And it's be interesting to see what she does in the WNBA. I think that she is a true blue superstar, and she really does, transcend sport. I think that she's someone that, whether it's men's sports, women's sports, whatever, like, you're intrigued because she's so damn good at what she does, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. And Hockenson, George Kittle's trying to steal the spotlight, showing up dressed like a wrestler and all that stuff. Nah, Hockenson's where it's at. Or Noah Fant. I don't know. Where's he at? Well, we don't claim Laporta. Whatever. Anyways, that's it. That's a reaction to the Vikings pressers on this beautiful Monday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.